Hey everyone, fresh from the dealer auction is this 2015 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. And today I'm going to review it to see how it's held up over the past 5 years. And then I'm going to determine whether or not this very capable CUV is a good value today. Now, there's no shortage of videos on YouTube describing the off-road prowess of the Trailhawk, including the low-range four-wheel drive and the locking rear differential, so I won't get too deep into those technical specifications. Plus, I don't have access to an off-road trail today, so I'm going to spin this review on paved surfaces, which likely is where most owners are going to be 95% of the time anyway. So first off in this video, I'm going to do a walk around of the car to kind of look for any issues that it might have, and all the while I'll be showing you what to look for when you're shopping for one. Then I'm going to have some fun and get it out on a test drive, which I feel really is the most important part of used car shopping. Let's face it, you're going to spend the vast majority of your ownership sitting behind the wheel. If you don't enjoy driving it, don't buy it. But anyway, we'll get it out on the freeway. I'll take it on a back road to see how it handles the urban commute. Okay, let's take a look at the outside of this car and just do a quick walk around and look for any outstanding items that might need attention. So I usually come up, to the front of the car and I'm inspecting paint quality. This particular car is excellent shape as far as that goes. There's no paint work that I can see on the front. Now, this car is used. You're going to see some scratches that are minor, but overall it's in good shape. There's a minor door ding right here. That's all easily buffable and fixable. This particular car is in excellent condition cosmetically. You're going to find little things like this up here in the front, but this is a used car. It's not a new car. There's going to be some flaws. Okay, let's get underneath the hood. Somebody had some sort of aftermarket wiring. I also see a yellow cable down there, so they might have had a different sound system in here. So I would want to make sure that these had the correct covers. The other thing you look for is leaks. The way to do that, these covers actually pop off. You just kind of pull up a little bit on the corners, and it's little clips that attach them, and you can actually take this cover off, and then you kind of see the mechanicals. Obviously you can see some dirt and grime, pretty normal for a 5-year-old car. The main thing I would be looking for is down inside. You want to kind of look for any obvious oil leaks that you might find. Now I'm looking down here and it looks like this piece here looks new compared to back there. This may have been replaced at some point. So that's one of your cam covers. But I don't see any obvious leaks. Everything looks pretty good. Now I'm going to get down underneath a little bit and I want to take a look and see if we have any obvious oil leaks under here. And I don't see anything, but you're looking for drips, especially if there's something on the ground, but coming from underneath. This particular car's got nearly new off-road tires on it. This particular car looks as if it has an aftermarket tow hitch. You can see where they cut a hole out of this trim piece. So that might be where some of that additional wiring came from we saw under the hood. Okay, we'll start off the interior inspection with the hatch area and cargo space. This particular model has the power tailgate, which is a nice feature. It has just a little button up here that you push to open it up. So as you can see, this has the original rubber mats that came with the car from Jeep, which is nice because those are awesome to keep the floors nice, especially when you're out off-roading. Now, the one thing that I noticed that is not in here is the cargo cover. Now, sometimes that's optional. However, I think on this particular car, which is pretty much a fully loaded example, it should be here, and it's not. Likely this car was traded in and they didn't want to use it, and they had it in their garage. They traded the car in and forgot about it, and there it sits in someone's garage, not getting used like it should be in this car. So the other thing that I'm checking for is, I'm going to open up this. I want to make sure that spare tire and tools are all present. In this car, it does appear everything is there. Now we're going to check out the backseat area. So this has got it's kind of a nice thing. It's got an actual 110 volt outlet down here that you can plug chargers and whatnot into. You've got air conditioning vents. But as you can see, these seats fold down to provide a flat floor for storage. It's a pretty easy latch here to do that with. And then it's got a fold down armrest with cup holders in it in the center. Overall, this car's in great shape. There really isn't much to complain about. The leather's in good shape. Doesn't look like it was abused at all back here. Okay, time for the interior. We'll go ahead and start this car up. I'll get myself kind of comfortable here. First off, and you're probably not going to see this too often, but you want to check and just make sure there's no warning lights on in the dash. So in this car, obviously we have the infotainment system. This is a fantastic system, by the way, that the Chrysler products use. Very, very intuitive to use, whether it's navigation, climate controls, etc. Lots of videos on the internet about that. I won't get too into detail, but you do want to make sure that the touch screen works. You know, it's a common failure in some cars for these screens to lock up, either go black, or it'll show this, but you'll hit it and nothing happens. Again, that can be a costly repair. The other things that I would like to do in here is just quickly check your power windows. You know, the automatic up and down feature sometimes cannot work, so you want to check those. So as you can see, this particular car has a panoramic moonroof, which is a fantastic feature. However, you want to make sure it works well, otherwise it can be a really costly repair. So that about covers the overall walk around and visual inspection of the car. That should give you a good idea the overall condition and anything that might need some attention. So all that being said, let's get it out and take it for a drive. Now, one of the things that I've noticed right off the bat, and I've read a lot about online, and that is that there's a lot of complaints about this particular transmission. It's a ZF built 9-speed automatic, and sometimes the shifting can be a little weird. To me, so far, it seems pretty normal, but just be aware that if it feels a little different than your current car, it's likely normal. And just make sure to check and see if all the updates have been done to that particular car. There's been several revisions to the software controlling the transmission. All right, we'll get it out here on the freeway. We've got some cars and trucks in front of us, so I'm gonna try to hang back and see if I can get a little bit of a run, see how it feels. Well, that's a quick 80 miles an hour right there. So let's talk about the engine. Now the base engine in all Cherokees in this particular year was the 2.4 liter Tiger Shark 4-cylinder, double overhead cam, 16 valves, a nice engine, but not a lot of power to move this 2-ton SUV. This particular car has the optional 3.2 liter Pentastar 24 valve V6. It makes 271 horsepower and 239 foot-pounds of torque. And those numbers are a big improvement over the Tiger Shark, which has 180 horsepower and 171 foot-pounds of torque. So performance is pretty brisk for a CUV of this class. 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds, 15.7 seconds through the quarter mile. Definitely better than most of the competitors in this class. Yes, it's going to pay a little bit of a price at the fuel pump, but it's definitely a must-have to have this V6 engine, in my opinion, if you're shopping for one of these. So, back to the transmission. As I'm cruising down the freeway right here, it's only turning 1,700 RPM at 75 miles an hour, so it's definitely going to help with the fuel economy in that 9th gear. However, the couple of times that I've asked for downshifts trying to pass somebody, it takes a bit. I mean, you gotta really push the throttle down, and then it kind of hesitates and goes. Now, it does have manual controls. I can pull the shifter over next to me, and it'll give me the ability to go up and down through the gears. Don't expect a lot of performance upgrade when you do that. This is not a dual clutch transmission like you will find in some performance cars, but it is there if you want to have some driver engagement. So overall ride quality on the freeway is very good. This particular freeway that I'm on is pretty smooth, but some of the overpasses and expansion joints I've gone over, it's providing a pretty good ride. It's a little firm. You can tell this is an off-road vehicle. It has suspension that's capable for withstanding abuse out on a rocky trail. So it's not going to be as supple as some cars in this class, but overall it's a smooth experience. The seats are actually quite comfortable. The leather is good quality, and the padding is actually soft, which I enjoy sports cars. I like a nice firm feel to the seat to kind of lock you in, you know, for performance driving. But let's face it, this is not designed for that. This is more designed for what we're doing right now, cruising down the freeway with the occasional off-road adventure. Okay, so I got it off the freeway, and this particular road is a pretty twisty road that I enjoy taking cars out on. It's not the smoothest road. There's quite a few bumps. So you'll kind of see here, it should give us a nice idea of how this car would handle a twisty mountain road. Now I realize most of you are not going to have access to a road like this for a test drive. Any more than you would have access to an off-road trail to test the four-wheel drive system out. Well, that's what videos like this are for, to help you with information that you can use without putting your hard-earned cash down. So overall, this is not setting any records. It is, well, it's an off-road SUV that I'm taking a winding road with. I would say at this point it's an average car for a road like this, but you're not going to come away from it with a smile on your face like you would in a sports car. If you're looking for a CUV in this class that would take to a road like this a little better, I would look to, say, a Volkswagen Tiguan or a Mazda CX-5. Those are going to provide the more sporty, car-like driving experience. Now, this is comfortable. It's soaking up the bumps well, but the steering is just not very communicative. It requires a lot of wheel movement to make the car turn. And it just doesn't provide a lot of feel and fun to drive factor on a road like this. So in addition to the suspension being soft and the steering being pretty lazy, The brakes are definitely inadequate for this. I'm feeling some pulsations in the brake pedal, which indicates warped rotors. And even though I'm not pushing the car very hard, I'm getting some brake fade and under heavier braking. So some attention on this car would definitely be needed to get the brakes in order. The transmission is leaving a lot to be desired on this road. It seems to want to hunt for gears a little bit, and when I'm leaving it in automatic, fully automatic right now. I'm not shifting myself or anything like that. And when I do that, it takes a lot of throttle input to get it to downshift and actually accelerate out of the corners. But I'm going to actually move it over into sport on the controller here and see what that does. And I'm going to move it over into manual mode so I can shift my gears. Okay, so I just gave it a little bit too much throttle. It's in manual mode right now, and it actually did a downshift, and I didn't want it to. The shifts are quick. In fact, the 9-speed actually has such close spacing of the gears, you hardly even can tell it shifted. Yeah, it definitely lacks control. I would just say leave it in automatic. It's not doing any better in manual mode to shift gears. The shifts are super late from when I ask for it. The only thing I would say that I give them a little bit of kudos for is the orientation of the upshift and downshift, where you pull it back towards you for an upshift and push it forward for a downshift. That is more traditional with what you would see like in a rally car or something like that. A lot of other automakers have it the other way around, but you're probably not going to be using this in manual mode ever in this car. Now, I will say that it seems like throttle response has gotten better in the sport setting, so it's obviously remapped the throttle, and now tip in is better. I get a more instant throttle response. So if you're out on a road like this, I think the sport setting is definitely worth going into. It's an improvement, but it doesn't make you want to go drive this car on a road like this. So overall, if you're buying one of these, buy it for its off-road ability. Maybe buy it for the looks. Don't buy it for a twisty mountain road. And let's put it this way, you're going to have a lot more fun when you get into the mountains to go rock crawling or off-road trailing than you are on the highway getting there. Okay, now it's time for my overall final score on this Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. First off, my thumbs down. Number 1, the transmission. On paper, the specs look great. It has 9 speeds, and it's built by the German company ZF, who builds high-performance transmissions found in some of the world's best luxury and performance cars. However, in practice, this transmission can be erratic in how it shifts, it's lazy to downshift, and it's a known failure in all Chrysler and Fiat products that share it. My second thumbs down is reliability. There definitely is some concern with how this generation of Cherokee will hold up, as we will now see them go beyond 100,000 miles. As mentioned, there's the erratic shifting transmission, plus I've seen lifter issues with the V6 engines, infotainment screen crashes, faulty window switches, and more. Maintenance and repair costs will likely be somewhat less than Japanese and German brands, but in my professional opinion, use caution when buying one of these, especially with higher miles. My third thumbs down is cargo space. The cargo space is pretty decent if you compare this to a small sedan. However, the 24.6 cubic feet of space with the seats up and 54.9 cubic feet with them down is well short of almost all other mid-sized CUVs, and in fact is actually less than some of the car-based wagons like the VW Golf Sport Wagon. Okay, now it's time for my thumbs up. First off is the Pentastar V6 engine. With 271 horsepower on tap, this engine is definitely very strong.
especially in this class of CUV, where most are powered by normally aspirated 4-cylinders. Plus, it offers up to a 4,500 pound towing capacity, which is more than double than what all of its competitors offer. My second thumbs up is its off-road ability. The Trailhawk version of the Cherokee has real off-road ability not seen in this class, including a low-range 4-wheel drive system, a locking rear differential, underbody skid plates, and revised front and rear fascias that increase approach, departure, and breakover angles. Even though most of these CUVs likely never see a dirt road, it truly deserves the trail-rated badges found on the fenders. My last thumbs up is the ride quality. The ride and comfort are very nice in this car. Both freeway and bumpy roads were handled with very little drama. The seats are an excellent companion for long trips, with soft padding and quality leather. And cabin noise is fairly quiet, even with off-road style tires.
Well, that wraps up my review of this 2015 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please share this and subscribe for more used car reviews.